You are listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast.
I think that the greatest work we do is to find out who we are, what makes us joyful and happy. And I think that as leaders in the corporate world or in not-for-profit world, the greatest gift we can give ourselves is do work that we love, do work that we're passionate about, and then it feeds our authentic self. Groucho Marx said in a quotation, just be yourself, everyone else is taken. And I remind myself all the time that when I look, for example, when I was practicing working on my speaking skills, and I was stuck, and I just was like I couldn't move it to the next level. And so I thought, well, what I'm going to do is go and find the types of communicators that I enjoy, that I appreciate, that I would like to be like. But I wanted to use them to look at some of the techniques that they used, the way they approached their audience, some of their skills, but not to become them. And that we each need to recognize that we're individuals and we have individual gifts, strengths, weaknesses, and to build on those strengths that we have and the uniqueness, because I may appeal to somebody in the way I communicate or the way I lead, and other people would go, oh my gosh. So we'll never please everyone. There's always going to be that 20% that immediately dislike us, that 20% that immediately love and adore us regardless of what we do. And then there's 60% in the middle that are always making up their mind and deciding based on what we did recently. So I think that as leaders in the corporate world, as well as in not-for-profit, that we really need to find ourselves. And for me, sometimes that started by simply identifying the things I didn't like, because that was where the easiest place, because I didn't really know what I liked because I hadn't experienced it all, but I could find the things I didn't like. And when I watch people in the workplace and in the corporate world, and I see CEOs walking around and they're stressed and they're hunched up and they get in the elevator with other people. When we did such a thing, it's a foreign world now, but when they got in the elevator, they would just be so self-absorbed. They saw nothing or felt nothing outside of themselves. And I thought, are you doing work that you're passionate about? Because I think it costs us our heart and soul when we do work for the paycheck without having any other reward from it. And this was I've done work in my life because I needed the work and I had a child to raise, and it was a means, but I always knew that I was going towards something else. And the last 25 years I worked in the corporate world and in government, I promised myself that I would never do work that I didn't love. I read it somewhere, it stuck, and I went and I said, do I love my work? Now, there's days that are more challenging than others, but I could basically say that I went to work and loved the work that I was doing. And as a result, I also attracted or hired people that loved what they were doing, because nobody else could stand to be around us, right? Who wants to be around this happy group that loves this and is so passionate about it and doesn't quit talking about it and has got other plans for next year and what we could do bigger and better? And it could be quite obnoxious for people that are unhappy there. And so it self-perpetuated. We manifested this really super powerful, tight team because we loved what we were doing. And it was so easy to go to work and have that. And stress, there was stress from budget, guidelines and time guidelines and managing risk, all of those things. But there was still that why we were there was joyful, and the end result, we never lost track of that vision of where we were headed, and we could encourage one another. So I think that was part of me finding my authentic self.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast.